However, what I would recommend is that you join me for the Q&A jam session at deantinneytutoring.setmore.com, because I actually have a whiteboard and I can actually, a whiteboard show you a cashless caller. Also, if you put cashless caller into the channel search bar, there'll be all kinds of cashless callers magically appear for me walking people through them, or whiteboard, or replay of a tutoring session. So there's a lot of my favorite Trevor version of a cashless caller was executed by Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban, the foundation of his fortune was selling broadcast.com to Yahoo for, several $billion. His piece was like $1 billion in Yahoo stock. And at the time, Yahoo was over $100. And Cuban said, well, geez, I don't want to go backwards. He says, I want to buy some insurance on my Yahoo stock position. And so he bought some 90 puts. He established the choice to sell every share of Yahoo he owned at $90 a share. Now, to pay for those puts, Trevor, he sold Yahoo 110 calls. So he sold the Yahoo 110 calls for $4 and used the proceeds to buy the 90 puts at $4. Hence the term cashless. He has no out-of-pocket cost for the insurance. So you're selling the call to pay for the put. That's what the cashless caller is. In 2010, Trevor, at expiration, Yahoo was a $18 stock. So is Cuban going to execute the put contracts, or is he going to sell the stock at 20? I think it was 18.20. He executed the puts, right? That year he paid $200 million in capital gains tax. I don't know him personally, but I know him casually. I used to sell before at the Warrior Games for many years as a season ticket holder. Kind of the Jack Nicholson of the Warriors there. People forget we weren't very good for many years. But anyways, I said, man, $200 million in capital gains tax. Man, that's awesome. That's the best cashless caller I've ever seen. And he said, well, Dean, I'm not happy about paying $200 million. And I said, well, you could have done something stupid, Mark, like Chris Cohan, who owned the Warriors at the time, had to sell the Warriors to pay his tax bill because he got an abusive tax shelter and they disallowed his losses. So I think very low probability you'll see a cashless caller in the Series 7. The channel's been going now 5 years. I think it was 2 years before I even made a video to illustrate a cashless caller. It's beautiful. It's got an apple and it's got a thumbnail on it with a caller. But that's what a cashless caller is. Definition is we're going to sell the call, covered call, because we have the stock, to pay for the protection, to pay for the put. So I hope that was helpful.